to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome back from the holidays, my friends and fans, and all you great Buccaneer fans out there, Lightning fans, Rays fans. We have any left? Rays fans? Good morning to you, Peter Blake. How are you, my friend? Hope you had a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, buddy. I hope you had a great holiday there and got lots of gifts.
Your mic sounds weird. I don't know. It sounds like you're on the phone or something. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
That's better.
Stand by to launch FanStream
We
Sports.
already did that. Did you do that or did I do that?
I didn't do it.
Oh, that's the old lead
Let's
thing.
start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but
This reminds me of the time I first started the show.
That was bad. Yeah, so we're having a little technical difficulty this morning just because technology is what it is today. We're having sign-in issues, so I'm running the show today, and you get fun stuff like that. So there you go. And Peter's microphone not sounding right, but we got it all together now. So here we go. We, part of this is going to be fun today because I know we've moved on, to the Saints and this huge game coming up on Sunday, but we're also going to recap a little bit since we haven't really been able to talk about it on this show, Peter. We did, of course, our award-winning post-game show from the fields. Hope you guys caught that right after the big win over the Jaguars. And as we said, a hobbled Trevor Lawrence who got hobbled even more with a great pass rush. Boy, the Bucs are just, it was I think their most complete game in 2 seasons, not just this year, but in 2 seasons because they were so physically aggressive defensively with 4 sacks on Trevor Lawrence, forcing 4 turnovers, and I mean forcing 4 turnovers. None of those were really gifts from Trevor Lawrence. It was as good a defense and just the uber aggressiveness of Todd Bowles and the way he is now coached in the past couple of weeks. This team has a completely different look. And talking to the guys in the locker room afterwards, and I asked them about the identity of this team, and Tristan Wirfs was like, starts with 6, man. Starts with Baker Mayfield. And that really has become the identity of this team. This underdog, scrappy, got to work for everything you get. Nobody thinks you can do it. You've been passed over 4 teams in 4 years. Everybody said Baker was going to suck. And we said, not so fast. Not so fast. So give this offense a little time to get it together with Dave Canales, new play caller. Guys get used to each other. There's some ingredients here for a pretty damn good football team. I know you predicted 10 wins, Peter. I said I'm thinking 9 in an NFC South championship, and that's what's going to happen. I really believe this. Now, the Bucs only have to win 1 of their last 2 games. It's not a do or die this weekend against the Saints. They just win 1 of the last 2, and they're in with all this shenanigans tiebreaker. So that's a pretty damn good spot to be in. You got to beat. I could think they obviously can beat the Saints this week. It's going to be a bloodbath. There's no question about that. But if you can't get one of these 2 wins at the end of the season, the way your team is playing right now, the way Todd Bowles has now turned the corner and is coaching uber aggressively, then you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. But what you look forward to now is a hot quarterback in Baker Mayfield who is suddenly feeling confident and letting it rip. And I asked him about that after the game, and he's like, yeah, I'm just much more confident in the chemistry I have with the receivers. I know where they're going to be, when they're going to be. I think he just mentally, after that Green Bay sack fumble where he held the ball, just said, I just got to get it out of my hands. I just got to start throwing the damn ball down the field. And that, to me, was the moment that this team turned around. Now, I mean, he had some great comeback wins against Atlanta. That was clutch, but those were not his best games. These last 2 games have been damn near perfect. And I think Todd Bowles has taken his hands off the controls of Dave Canales, forcing him to run the football when he doesn't need to or doesn't want to. I sense that as part of this. We're not going to get that publicly. And quite frankly, Devin White taking his thumb and his head out of his ass.
Right.
That's a huge part of it.
I think that's where you set the tone because, at the end of the day, we've been waiting for White to have that type of game where he has an interception, where you can use him on the blitz, which is what Todd Bowles was able to do. But you go back to it, And by the way, over 2,000 views of that post-game edition live from Raymond.
Oh, there you go.
So thanks a lot for tuning in there, all you JP Peterson fans, and of course the Sports Web. It was a beautiful thing there on Sunday, but I think it really turned around, as I said on the post-game, with that last drive there, with the last 2 drives by Baker Mayfield against the Atlanta Falcons. That's when it started to click. And whether it's Dave Canales, whether it's the running game, whether it's the offensive line, right now, you would have to say everything is going in the right direction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And no matter who that first-round opponent is, and I know I'm already saying they're going to beat the Saints, but I feel like, again, they're going to beat the Saints. They're going to win 10 games this year. Right now, you have to feel good about their chances, especially versus the Cowboys and the Eagles. Both of those teams right now going in the direction that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going.
Yeah.
I think the Bucs are in better shape at this point.
Yeah, I watched the Eagles the other night, and they barely beat the Giants. And dadgummit, if Tyrod Taylor completes that pass to Evan Ingram in the fourth quarter, the Giants win that game. And by the way, the lovely Ashley would have won a 3-team parlay.
Whoa.
$15 for 2,500.
Can I fire the horn on that?
Yeah, got to combine on this one because I told her, I said, take the Raiders. Right. I love the Raiders. I took the Raiders straight up, with the 10.5 points. I said, I love the Raiders against the Chiefs. And by the way, how bad is Patrick Mahomes right now and the Chiefs? Bad. I mean, and that's why I love the Raiders. The Raiders defense has been opportunistic all year long. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think they were going to win the game. But this parlay was all 3 of those underdogs on Sunday, or is it Saturday, to win the game outright. And, of course, the Ravens win outright. I had the Ravens as well. I had the Ravens in the over in that one. I had a nice little parlay on that one.
Right.
And then we had the Raiders beat the Chiefs. So all we needed was the Giants to win, and they damn near pulled it up. The Eagles are not good right now. They're not good. And Dallas is a front-running team. I thought they might be able to go down to Miami, and I thought Miami is a little soft, but Miami's defense is better than I thought. Miami's defense is playing better than I thought. They're starting to run the football a little bit, so I think Miami is a little bit better than I originally thought. I think they're pulling it all together at the right time. But the Cowboys are not great. They're not the team of last year. And more than anything, the Bucs are not the team of last year. No. That's the most important thing. This Bucs team, and we said it before the season, this is going to be a better iteration without Tom Brady. The offense is going to be better. Baker Mayfield's going to have a better year. All that is coming to fruition. And a lot of people here, especially locally, poo-pooed that. They poo-pooed it. And no, Baker Mayfield sucks. He's on his 4th team in 4 years. They didn't look inside and see why he was on his 4th team in 1 year. Or how he'd actually played in a lot of these games, especially with the Rams. And you look at his mobility, his tenacity, and I thought his attitude was a great fit for this team as well and where he's at in his career. And you've seen that all come to fruition, especially in the last couple of games. I mean, this team loves Baker Mayfield. This town loves Baker Mayfield because it fits our DNA. This is a blue-collar, hard-working, no glitzy, no glamour. No, we're not Miami. We're not close to Miami. Okay. This is a totally different type of subculture here in Tampa Bay. And I think it fits what Baker Mayfield's all about. The comeback player of the year, the forever walk on, forever trying to prove it. Not flashy, not pretty. That's that 3rd and 6 near the goal line where he tucks it with 2 hands. With Allstott in the building celebrating Mikey's 50th birthday. It was so fun to watch that. And, I almost thought I'd hear the Allstott train whistle after Baker did that. I mean, if they'd have had this, the presence of mind to blow the Allstott whistle after that, the place would have got even more bonkers than it already did. So, yeah, that was a fun watch on Sunday. Just fun watching this team, fun watching the fans on Christmas Eve, get the best Christmas present they could ever get, and see this team just kind of develop an identity over this last few weeks. Sometimes, usually that happens from the beginning of a season, right? Yeah. And I think to some degree it did, with the 3-1 start. But then the lull was just like so many players playing out of place. And we still had Matt Filer in there. We still had JTS in there. We still had Ryan Neal in there. And it took so long for Todd Bowles and his coaching staff to finally make the right picks and get the right people in the right spots, for God's sakes. And we need to see more of David Moore. And even Trey Palmer got a little fire lit under his ass. So you're seeing this team come to fruition. And I said it early, that team was soft, man. When they played Houston and they backed off and they rushed 3, and it was just everything was soft. There was no intensity. This game, Devin White's finally running around with like his hair's on fire, which is the Devin White we know we could see. Where the hell has that been? That dude, if you don't think he quit on his team this year, go look at the tape. Yes, that tape, and look at the rest of his tape. It's dog crap. Yep. It's awful.
Yep.
And then he suddenly this week, after all the controversy, you go out and play like that. Where you been, man? Yeah, I don't want to hear this. Oh, I showed you guys. No, you didn't. You showed us you quit on this team for most of the season is what you showed us. We knew this was in there. Where the hell's it been? And what a difference it makes in how much more physical this team looks when he's running around and hitting people. And it's clearly inspired the rest of the defense. Yaya Diaby's running through double teams. Cansey's running through double teams, knocking people down, tackles for loss. Yeah. I mean, this team looks completely different. It's aggressive. It's hard. It's hard-nosed. I mean, Tristan Wirfs said it to me. I posted that on Twitter and Facebook, man. He's like, yeah, we're just a bunch of dogs. And I would have laughed at that 8 weeks ago. But when your coach says, we're not going to sit back, in this too high shell and, to come rally and chat. When your coach says, go get them, sick them.
Yeah.
What a difference it makes. What a difference it makes.
You're aggressive. You're not sitting back in a zone like you talked about earlier on.
And you're going for it on 4th and 2 with 5 minutes left in the game to salt the game away. Thank you.
Calling timeouts before halftime. I mean, it's amazing. Again, it's like dogs and cats living together. Still a line from Bill Murray from Ghostbusters in 1984. It's exactly right. And I tell you right now, the national recognition that this Bucs team is getting right now, Antoine Winfield Jr., you could absolutely say with the statistics, Defensive Player of the Year. How much has he meant to this defensive unit? How about Yaya Diaby getting recognition to being a Defensive Player of the Year? And I don't even think he's the best defensive player rookie-wise. I think Kalijah Cansey with the number of games. But it's just amazing how everything is turning. And you talked about Patrick Mahomes. If you look at Baker Mayfield's statistics and Patrick Mahomes, way better. Who's the better quarterback? And by the way, everybody's saying Lamar Jackson is the MVP. Baker Mayfield has most likely better numbers than Lamar Jackson. So can you not make the case, as crazy as this sounds, that Baker Mayfield could be the MVP of the league with what he's done statistically? If you're going to say about Lamar Jackson, could you make the same case for Baker Mayfield and how he's turned around this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team?
I think you've lost your mind on that one, but
maybe.
I'll take a look.
Right. I'm just saying the numbers, if you're going to say Lamar Jackson and all that's based on is, well, Lamar Jackson and what he does for the Baltimore Ravens and the winning record. But if you look at the numbers, they match up pretty well, do they not?
I'm checking. And last week, Baker was 8th in passer rating.
Yeah.
So let me. I want to just do a quick search here.
Sure.
Did you already look him up?
I'm looking him up right now, but I looked at the numbers. Let's see here, Lamar Jackson.
Lamar played a hell of a game the other night.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's obviously a little bit of it is a popularity contest as well. Sure. I mean, let's just be honest. Baker's never going to win that award.
No,
never going to win that award.
But right now he's got 3,300 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Right. That's his passing. Now he got some rushing yards in there too, probably rushing touchdowns. So it's probably more total touchdowns overall here. Let's just see here.
Yeah, I mean, Baker's numbers are way better than that. I know that off the top of my head.
That's my point. I mean, if you're going to sit there and say Lamar Jackson is the MVP of the league with those numbers and what he means to the Baltimore Ravens, could you not make the same case for Baker Mayfield?
You could. I mean, just based on numbers. And let's be honest. I mean, he's working with a lot less than Lamar's working with.
Thank you.
I don't. Now that I say that, I mean, again, this Buccaneers team has been pretty damn good in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
So, but if you're going by quarterback rating, and
Baker has 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions at this point, right?
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least comeback player of the year. And I get it. A lot of people want to go DeMar Hamlin because he hasn't. I get it. Came back from death. He didn't really play a lot of snaps. That's your comeback player of the year. But realistically, numbers wise, it should be Baker Mayfield. At least if you're not going to give him the MVP, give him, the comeback player of the year. But again, if you're going to throw those numbers out there, if it's all about numbers, Baker Mayfield should be in that conversation, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, 100%. Right now, Baker is 4th in the league in quarterback rating, according to NFL.com.
Yeah.
It's Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield. That's ahead of Josh Allen. That's ahead of Matthew Stafford. That's ahead of Patrick Mahomes. That's ahead of Joe Burrow. That's ahead of Trevor Lawrence. That's ahead of all these these other guys that are supposed to be the greatest in the game.
Right.
So there's Brock Purdy on that number. I think those 4 interceptions knocked him down dramatically. So yeah, it's been one hell of a season for him, no question about it. And I just think to me it is Baker's team. There's no doubt about that. But it's how Baker coalesces the team around him. He's not. Brady was Brady. Like Brady was the iconic, the greatest to ever do it. Guys followed him because he was that way. He set the tone, all that. Certainly not last year. And Baker's just doing it in a much different way, in a much more organic way. And I love that. I love it. I mean, the Brady era was great. It was fantastic. It was, the greatest thing that ever happened to the Buccaneers, arguably. But this just feels way different. And in a way, it feels better. And if they were able to make a run in these playoffs, man, I mean, this could really be a season to remember. Can they get to 10 wins? Hell yeah, they can get to 10 wins.
Yes.
And they don't even need to. All they got to do is win one of the next 2, and they're in. That's pretty freaking great. Yeah. By the way, I did not set up the show yet. We have 2 great guests coming on today. Scott Reynolds will join us at 10:30, and then the great Sal Paolantonio, who we watched the game with on Sunday, who was here, did a one-on-one with Baker Mayfield for ESPN. ESPN suddenly giving the Bucs a lot of love. Mm-hmm. So Sal Pal will join us at 11:30 as well. So, it was one hell of a game, but now you've got to turn the page and look ahead to the Saints. The Saints team that's going to be well rested. They played last Thursday, beaten by the Rams, trounced by the Rams. They made a little bit of a comeback, but they were down 30-7 in that game. They've got major question marks at quarterback. Michael Thomas is probably not going to play. Derek Carr has been awful. He's not a winning quarterback.
No.
So my goodness, with the momentum that the Bucs have, you just want to say, yeah, this is a dub, but it's not that easy. These 2 teams are, they hate each other. They're rivals, goes without saying. The division is on the line here. I mean, what more can you say about a game and a matchup like this? It's a matchup where Mike Evans, you got to keep your cool. Don't go shoving people. Don't go bananas. He's been better about that, but it's going to be a bloodbath, and I personally cannot wait. And I'm glad they didn't flex it. It's a 1:00 game, so I can get to my Lightning duties that night. We got a little double dip going. I'm getting the kids are coming with me for their first Buccaneers game. My stepkids.
Nice.
And so we'll do that. I'll watch the game with them and kind of explain to them what the hell the NFL is all about. And then we'll be headed over on that New Year's Eve to Amalie Arena to watch the Bolts play as well. So pretty good double dip on that day. Should be fun.
I'm telling you, absolutely. And lots of sports going on that day and lots of expectations, especially for the Bucs, because as the great TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network pointed out, you beat the Saints, you win the NFC South. It's just that simple.
Or the Panthers.
Right. Or what better scenario? But take care of it now. Beat the Saints.
Win it at home.
And then that game, for me, I would still play your offense, but I think there's a lot of Bucs fans out there that would still like to see what Kyle Trask has in that last game.
I think in that last game in this situation, because you want to get to 10 wins, because you may face a wild card team that I'm not exactly how sure it's going to shake out.
Right.
But you got to get to 10 wins, because you never know in the second round you might be able to host, if the wild card team wins in the first round, one of the lower teams, then you could host that game again with a better record.
Mm-hmm.
So it does mean something. It does mean something. You can improve your seeding if you go out and get 10 wins. I'm pretty sure about that, if I'm not mistaken. So do it. Do it.
You just don't know, because right now you look in front of you. I mean, San Francisco versus Baltimore the other night, and you already have possibly an injury to Brock Purdy, who has a stinger.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be major. You never know, but I don't think that's going to be major. And I thought it was interesting that he could have come back into the game,
right?
And Kyle Shanahan said, "No, that's enough, kid. Sit down." You don't want to hurt his confidence. He threw 4 picks. Of those 4 picks, I think one of them was really on him. 2 others were batted balls. The last one, I'm trying to remember, but as I recall, 3 of the 4 were not really horrible throws. So, it is what it is. But his numbers have been off the charts. He was going to have one of these days, right? He was going to have one of these days. The Ravens, I picked them to win the Super Bowl, and I'm not pulling off now. They're a really good football team. They've sustained a couple of bad injuries here, but they're fast on offense. Lamar is, he's really, really good. He's a winner. And this defense is just ball hawking. I mean, the way they took it to the 49ers, I was really, really surprised at that.
Yeah, and I tell you right now, a lot of people say, well, and how many NFL teams, JP, in the offseason said, you know what, we don't want to trade for Lamar Jackson. We don't even want to try because we don't like him as a quarterback, or we think the Ravens. And here we're talking about him possibly being an MVP. And then on top of it, what you do for Jackson is you get him a new offensive coordinator, right? Todd Monken.
Yeah.
And then you get him 2 new weapons in Odell Beckham and also Zay Flowers. And guess what? He turns into a legitimate quarterback who can throw the ball from the pocket. And a lot of people say, well, he's not a legitimate quarterback. He's going to run around. He's not.
That's ridiculous.
You got to help your quarterback out, no matter if he's a running quarterback or not. And then all those teams going back. How about the Atlanta Falcons? How do you feel about that, Falcons fans? Going with the greatness of Desmond Ridder, who is not a quarterback in this league. You pass up the opportunity to get a guy like Lamar Jackson. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And they went back to Taylor Heineke. Got and they got a dub, no question about that. But they're not going anywhere, and they're going to need to find a quarterback. And it'll be interesting to see if Justin Fields is available. And Justin continues to really play some pretty damn good football, and Caleb Williams continues to put stuff out on social media that makes him look like an immature little brat that I think he is. No. If I'm the Bears, I would not draft him. I do not think he's going to be a great leader in the NFL. I could be wrong, but right now I think he's really immature. He's going to have to grow up a lot to be a good quarterback in this league, to be respected in the locker room. I think he's got a lot of maturing to do. And at this point, the way Justin Fields is playing, I would, if I'm the Bears, I roll with Justin Fields, get him some more weapons, load up, trade that top overall pick and turn it into 3 or 4 first or second round picks.
Yeah.
And just redo your entire roster, kind of like the Texans did, and build your roster around Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Get an offensive line. Get some of those picks and maybe trade some of those picks for established offensive linemen. Do something. You've got a lot of firepower now.
Yeah.
You've got the Panthers first round pick. You've got your first round pick. You could turn the Panthers first overall pick into probably 3 or 4. What a gold mine. But you know what? That's one of the horrible organizations in football. They'll screw it up. They'll find a way to screw it up. They do not have a smart organization there. And good for the Bucs.
Well,
hey, before we get to Scott Reynolds, we'll obviously be talking a lot more Bucs. I want to hit a couple other topics. Wander Franco reports out of the Dominican Republic that they raided his childhood home and his adult home and did not find him. So clearly, he was tipped off. He's on the run and is now a fugitive from the law in the Dominican Republic. Welcome to your Rays experience. The foundation of the future is being arrested or questioned for having an inappropriate relationship with a minor. There, by the way, there was new evidence that came to light. According to the reports out of the DR, there is new evidence that spurred this raid. So not a good situation for Wander Franco. A terrible situation for the Rays. Just more bad news for the Rays as they trade away their best players and other of their best players go to jail.
Maybe. It's not a good optic. The longer this goes, and you wonder when the Rays decide to make a decision about this. But when you first heard this and people go, well, if the government wants to, the government wants you. The problem is this has gone on for how long now? What, 5 months? 5 months and we still are investigating this and now he's being raided. I mean, not
a good look.
Nah, stay away from this.
All right, so the Bolts tonight will welcome in the stinking Panthers. They've won 3 in a row now, the Bolts have, after a 2-1 shootout win in Chicago or D.C. on Saturday night. They get a shootout goal from Hedman to win it. Glendening got his 5th, and they get the 2-1 shootout win. Vasilevsky has been playing fantastic hockey. Here come the stinking Panthers tonight. Got to keep it rolling. They've got 3 home games here this week, so good chance for the Bolts to and it looks like they're pulling it all together at the right time. Glendening, Sheary, guys that were hurt early in the season have now started to find their footing. They're playing better defensively in front of Vasilevsky, so it appears that the Lightning have turned the corner now and are starting to munch points and get back to where they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, the second period, that's what you got to watch for. And, of course, like you said, the defensive breakdowns, and you can correct those because we talked to the Chief, last week about this. Yeah. It's correctable. You just don't understand it. And I think going back to the Vegas game, that's how I go back to that. They score 4 goals in the second period. You blow the lead, but then somehow, some way you figure out how to win that game. And Vasilevsky, you talk about him. Those last 2 minutes.
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
On the
fantastic.
Edge, having a heart attack or you're having, heartburn that night. You got to continue to watch, and he just continues to make save after save after save for this team. And that's how big he is. That is how big he is for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, when Vasi's going like that, they win a lot of games. And I'm starting to get that feel from a few years ago in 2020 where they were middling at the beginning, changing some of their systems, and then found their footing and basically won 21 of 25 games and 2 cups from there. So let's hope this is the same type of turnaround that we saw then. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report's going to join us. Much more Bucs ahead. Sal Paolantonio of ESPN will join us as well. He was here to cover the game, so we'll get a great feel for his thoughts on the Buccaneers. Stay with us. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays, get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP
Well,
Peter.
Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad was.
Stop that.
Now you know how I feel first,
It's
right?
a little button, man. You get it in the wrong spot, and then off we go on another break. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawGroup.com. They wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. Scott Jeeves, a great friend of the show and also a great community guy as well. He either in his St. Pete office or in his Tampa office. He's local, got a bunch of great lawyers that work with him. So if you need to attack an insurance company, he is the guy to do it for you. Great dude and a local dude. They'll call you back. You'll get that great personal attention that you need, that you probably won't find with some of these bigger law offices. So call the best. That's Scott Jeeves, the Jeeves Law Group, highly accredited, highly respected in the area. And once again, keep it local, right? Like we always say.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it local with our good friend Scott Reynolds. Let's add him to the big show here. What's up, Scotty? How are you, my friend?
Doing good. Getting ready to eat some Pop-Tarts. Got the Pop-Tarts Bowl tomorrow. Kansas State,
Pop-Tarts.
North Carolina State. Yeah.
I love that. So I'm trying to think of, I don't really want to talk about bowl season right now because Florida State is down to about 12 players. I think Florida State is one deep at quarterback and running back at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's
how do you play a game like that?
Yeah. I mean, usually like in high school, right? You've got like a varsity, JV, freshman team. I think you're down to the freshman team kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. I don't even know if they actually one of the recruits, the big Luke Cronenhook, who they just brought in, is actually practicing with the team and getting ready at the Orange Bowl, getting ready to play Georgia.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if he can play.
Man.
I don't even know if he's eligible, but he's practicing. So
yeah.
But
they have to do something with the transfer portal, and they have to move the dates. They have to preserve the integrity of the Bulls somehow, because I mean, I've seen it too at Kansas State. I mean, Will Howard, our starting quarterback, transferred. I mean, he's going to lose his job anyways to Avery Johnson, our phenomenal freshman quarterback. But it's
ridiculous.
It is. It's one thing if guys opt out for the NFL draft, right? That's kind of become a thing. But now with the transfer portal, it's put so much pressure on college coaches too, because it's like they have the end of the season, right? The season ends. Maybe you're preparing for a conference championship game. And then within like a matter of weeks, you have high school recruiting, right? And JUCO recruiting.
Right.
And then you're losing kids, right? And you kind of think, all right, well, we're set at this position. All of a sudden there's like a wave of guys that leave and transfer because they're not getting playing time or whatever.
Right.
And then you don't fill all those holes in recruiting, and then you have to go back to the transfer portal to fill those holes. It's just the timetable has got to be adjusted because there's so much on the coaches' plates in the month of December. It's stunningly bad. for college
and it's
football.
and it destroys rosters for, what should be important games. I mean, this
Yeah.
is not, with all due respect, this is not the Weed Eater Poulan Bowl here.
Right.
It's the freaking Orange Bowl, man.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be, and by the way, the sponsors are paying big money
Right.
for this, and they're getting, what amounts to a JV game.
Yeah.
At least on the FSU side. Brock Bowers is not playing.
Right.
They lost the offensive lineman as well.
Yeah.
So they, it's bad for. I mean, it's like, who's running this thing?
Yeah.
This is not even
The players are running this thing.
Yeah.
That's what's happening and they have to adjust the calendar and the timetable. And I get it too, because it's like you have to allow these student athletes to be able to enroll in the spring semester at their new school, right? So like they're up against that from a student athlete time standpoint. Like, so if you're going to switch schools, well, you got to be enrolled to be eligible. So it's kind of a nightmare. It really is. And I don't.
They can change that. They can change because most of the bowls are over by January 1st. So the portal opens on January 3rd, and you're allowed to enroll in your, like they're going to class anyway.
I know.
You're allowed to enroll in your classes by the 10th of January.
It's
That's
just that,
be a problem.
Like for Will Howard, who I think is going to USC to replace Caleb Williams, right? So it's like Will has to literally move from Manhattan, Kansas to LA, and go out there to Southern California and enroll, learn the lay of the land, etc. I mean, it's really difficult. It's unfortunate because I used to love bowl season, even from a draft perspective, scouting some of these guys but if you're
now they're not even playing.
They're not even playing hardly. So
yeah, and then that just it goes back to the college football playoff, and as an FSU fan, you're going to get raced by Georgia, and everybody's going to say, "See," and we have to explain to you that wasn't our team. Duh.
Exactly.
I mean, my God, not even close to our team. So whatever. All right. The good news is the Bucs have become a completely different team since about week 8.
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever seen a Bucs team transform like this. Now, you could go back to 2020, the Super Bowl season. That team was middling. I get it at 7-5, but it had an identity, and you knew where they were going, and you knew that they were just a tweak off.
Right.
This team was god awful.
Right.
I mean, it was soft.
Yes.
It was awful. I mean, it was so bad. And what we saw last week, the last 2 weeks, where the metamorphosis here is stunning and unprecedented. Is that fair?
No, it really is. I mean, we were talking about top 10 draft picks and head coaching candidates to replace Todd Bowles about a month ago, and credit Todd Bowles. He's done everything to silence that narrative and say, wow, can this team actually win 6 games in a row? That's only happened one time in franchise history in the regular season. Now, it did happen in 2020, but those 8 straight wins, 4 of those happened in the regular season. 4 happened in the postseason. But it's only happened one time in the regular season. That was 1999 under Tony Dungy, where they won 6 in a row. So Todd Bowles would be in some incredible company. I mean, you think of, John Gruden is the all-time winningest coach in Bucs history. Bruce Arians has the highest winning percentage of any Bucs coach, and yet they didn't win 6 games in a row in the same season. Even when the Bucs won 13 games in 2021 under Bruce Arians, that wasn't a 6-game winning streak. So it is very hard to do, and Todd Bowles would get an incredible amount of credit if he pulls it off. And you know what? I think he's going to, because he owns the Saints, man. They're 3-0 against the New Orleans Saints. They used to be the bully of the NFC South block, and now Bowles and this Buccaneer team, they just have New Orleans' number, and I expect them to get win number 5 in a row against the Saints, or I should say 5 in a row for this season, win 4 in a row against the Saints dating back to last year. On Sunday, then it sets up an interesting game at Carolina, and I think Todd Bowles gave us a little clue and a hint about which direction he's leaning towards in the post-game press conference on Sunday after beating the
Jags.
Thank you. I had Packers in the brain. I'm like, no, they played another team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I do that all the time, my friend.
Yeah, it's something about 50, 51, 53, age-wise. But I think that should they win against New Orleans, and even though they would clinch the NFC South, I think they roll into Carolina, guns a-blazing, and play everybody and try to win that game and keep some momentum. Smart for Todd Bowles. You need 10 wins, man. You had a chance to get number 9 last year, and you decided not to.
The narrative changes. The narrative can change on you if you don't get those wins that you need to get.
That's right.
And if I'm not mistaken, they could improve their seeding, could they not? If they get to 10 wins, if some other teams lose games.
It depends what happens in these next 2 weeks. I mean, this could be a 10-7 season for the Buccaneers. It could be a 7-9 season for the Buccaneers as well. So I mean, there's or 7-10 is a lot riding in this particular week, or I should say,
2 weeks.
Yeah, 8-9 would be what the Bucs. The worst they could finish would be 8-9 again.
Scott, do you think if Todd does run the table here and they do go 10-7, which is what I predicted on this show and other shows, that he saves his job at this point?
Probably, yeah. Depending on if they get absolutely waxed and shellacked, 38-0 or something in that home playoff game. I know the Glazers have fired coaches. Tony Dungy comes to mind for not winning enough in the playoffs, and there's nothing worse than a home playoff loss. And that's happened. I mean, it happened in John Gruden's 2007 season, happened in his 2005 season as well. So I would think, though, with 6 straight wins to end the season, since that's pretty momentous, and it would show a 2-game improvement, that it would take a catastrophic downfall in that playoff game for the Glazers to change their mind. I think even if they lost a close game, I think Bowles would come back. And I think if he goes 10 wins, that's 2 wins in terms of improvement over last year. Won the NFC South again. I think it's probably enough to keep his job.
Scott Reynolds joining us here
at 9-8, right? Different story, because it's only a 1-win improvement. And if he loses that playoff game, I think it opens the door for some deliberation.
Yep, I agree. What do you think is, as I mentioned, this incredible turnaround? Why has it happened? We see that it happened, but why has it happened in your mind? And I think Bowles is coaching a lot more aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
They've finally got people in the right spots. Diaby, Delaney, etc., Stinney. So I think all of that plays into it. And I just think Bowles is coaching much more aggressively. And I think he's taken the reins off of Dave Canales as well. This is just my observations. What do you think?
I don't know that he's ever had the reins on Dave Canales. He's so hands off. And I've had conversations with him at press conferences and then off the record. And he really is hands off. He lets Dave run the show. He'll be the first to admit, I am not an offensive coach. When I look at offense, I try to design ways to destroy your play and blow it up, not how it's going to succeed. So that's not his bag. I think it goes to the running game. When the Buccaneers started to really run the football, and over these last 5 weeks now, they're averaging 114 yards per game, which over those 5 weeks, if you look at where that would rank had they done that the whole season right now, you're looking at the 13th best ground game. That's fantastic, especially for a team. It was last year. Now, this is some recency bias here because it's the last 5 weeks of 15 that they've played already. So you factor in the other 10 that weren't so great. They're still the 3rd worst rushing attack this year. But they're averaging 89 yards per game on the ground, factoring in week 1 through 16. And that's 15 yards per game better than it was last year when they were doing 75. So I think that has been the catalyst, because what the improved ground game has done, it's made the Buccaneers less predictable. It has allowed them to score more points as a result, because now they're putting 30 points on the board over these last 2 weeks for sure. And they haven't scored fewer than 20 points per game dating back to that Colts game 5 weeks ago. So looking at these 5 weeks, they're averaging 26 points per game. That's winning football, right? I mean, you're going to win games when you're scoring 26 points in this league in this day and age. And it has allowed Todd to call games differently because they've had the lead instead of playing from behind. It has allowed his defense to become better rested, fresher in the second half of games, because now the offense can stay on the field and sustain drives with a balanced attack. So I give a lot of credit to Dave Canales. He's kind of winked and nodded, and he said, hey, it's going to take like half a season for this running game to get going, and that's due to the collective bargaining agreement. You can't practice the running game the way you want to, the way it used to be done in training camp. You don't have those live tackling periods where you're going 100% trying to knock dudes into the ground, right? Everybody's got to stay up to stay healthy. And so you certainly don't do that in practice once the season starts. I mean, shoot, after the first month or so, you're in shells. Wednesdays have been walkthroughs for the Buccaneers for the last couple of weeks. So the only time you have to really be physical, mano a mano, move bodies, put the bodies on the floor, as the song would say, is in games. You only got one shot at that each week. Right. And you're going to run maybe 25, 30 running plays. It would just take so much time. You got to kind of do it little chunk by little chunk, but they stuck to it. They found out what works. They've got this counter game going now where they're pulling tackles, they're pulling guards into the hole.
Love that.
Yeah. They've gotten away from some of the zone stuff because it hasn't been as effective as the counter. And man, I think that it starts there and it has trickled all the way throughout the team because we're seeing better coverage outside with Mike and Chris. It's allowed them to get going. And we've seen this defense play with the lead. And when you do that, you can be more aggressive. Like Todd Bowles said, hey, it's easy to go for it when you're up 30-0, right? If you don't, if you blow a coverage, oh well, we're up 30-6 now, 30-7.
But he's been aggressive within the game when the game's on the line, which is different. And I don't know, maybe he just realized he's got to coach more aggressively or this team's going nowhere. And I think Baker Mayfield realized that he got to let the ball go or this team is going nowhere. And the combination of those two, that's got this team hopping.
I agree.
Your thoughts on the Devin White experience over the last couple of weeks? I said earlier, this just proves to me how much he's been dogging it all year long.
Of course. Well, yeah, and the thing is like, imagine what would have happened if Todd Bowles had benched Devin White after the Ravens game last year. Okay, his first game back, what happens? He plays phenomenal football. He's played the way this team and the fan base has wanted him to play after what happened, his benching. Now, Devin opted to go full-on bench himself, right. Okay, up in Green Bay. Yeah. I guess Todd Bowles said, we're going to start KJ Britt and we're going to rotate you in. And Devin said, I want no part of that. And then he missed playing the game. And so he decided, okay, well, I'll take a shot at it. And I think he made a deal with Todd Bowles. Hey, if I'm playing really well, can I stay out there? And Todd's like, that's all I've wanted from you to begin with. Is to play well.
Kind of how it works.
Right. So then KJ Britt got like the first snap and then like 4 in the whole game. And the rest is Devin White's. But yes, he played tremendous football. And it's like, I think sometimes, like we've called for Devin White to be benched before. Yeah. And it's not like we have it out for Devin White or we hate Devin White. I got nothing personal against him whatsoever. You're playing terrible. You don't deserve to play. Yeah. And if you have pride and if you are a good player, you will take that personally. And then the next opportunity you have to come in, you will play better. That's the whole reason for players getting benched is you're not playing good enough. And when you're ready to play better, like we'll play you. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm not surprised by it whatsoever. Luke Gedeke last year got benched. His wasn't a lack of effort. His was just like getting overwhelmed being a right tackle at Central Michigan and having to play left guard in the NFL and having a murderer's row of Kenny Clark and, Chris Jones and and Grady Jarrett and all those guys that he had to face and Cameron Hayward and all that. But he got benched. And he also did hurt his foot, but he got benched. The next time we saw him, what happened? Week 18, he played right tackle and showed himself and the Buccaneers that he can be a right tackle. I mean, just remarkably better play. Yes. Then the next week, because Nick Leverett got hurt in the Falcons game, that season finale last year, he had to go back to left guard and start against the Cowboys. And he played his best game at left guard. After what? After being benched. So, like, people take benching as a negative thing. Oh, you're on this guy. You want to bench. You don't like him. No, it's nothing to do with that. I've coached before. I've benched kids before. And you want to see them, their next opportunity, rise to the occasion and play better. That's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah, Scott, I got to ask you, how excited do you think Jason Light and this organization going forward is about Yaya Diaby and Kalijah Cansey?
Huge. One of the things that I really, really, really admire about Jason Light and always have is there are no sacred cows with this guy. Right? I mean, Peter, I'm not sure how long you've been in the area. I know JP and I mean, we go back to the Rich McKay days. Okay, so you're there as well.
All my life.
Okay, Eric Curry, right? Played all 5 years of his rookie deal and was horrible. He was bust. When Warren Sapp arrived in 95, and I think Curry lasted up till 97 as a rotational player because he just was terrible. When Sapp arrived in 95, like I think at the OTAs, he was telling the coaches, like who's this guy? Like, he's a bum. Like, he's a first-round pick. Are you kidding me? Like, it's terrible. Get him out of here, you know? So it's like when the players know that, you know, the general manager should know that too. But a lot of times, and Rich McKay had a huge ego. It was his pick, and he didn't want to admit a mistake. Jason Light admits mistakes, man. Roberto Aguayo, huge mistake on his part. Lasted 1 year. Boom, gone. Go back to his first free agency class of 2014. He signed what was his name? Andre Collins, the left tackle, you know, gone after 1 year. Michael Johnson, gone after 1 year. Josh McCown, gone after 1 year. These were highly paid veterans, right? Signed multi-year deals. And if you can't play, you're gone. Logan Hall, you know, after 1 year, he's like, okay, this guy's not very good. We're going to draft another defensive tackle to replace him. Elijah Cansey essentially has. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, you know, giving him 3 years to kind of, you know, or 2 years really to kind of come to life, plateaued at 4 sacks. I'm hitting the reset button. We're going to draft Yaya Diaby in the 3rd round this year, you know, and he supplanted JTS. So I love that about general managers, and especially Jason Light, who are quick to admit the mistake button and press it and you know, next. And I think that's what's got this team primed where they are now defensively, not just for a run here at the end of this season, but man, the future is bright with these two guys. If you talk to them in the locker room, they're all ball. They're serious. They want to win. They're not, you know, they're not like, oh, I'm an NFL player. No, they want to be great. And I appreciate it about them. I'm not going to say this is the next, you know, Sapp and Brooks thing, but just from a level of seriousness. And it was different back then because these were the Yuccaneers we were talking about. Those guys came in and said, I came from Florida State. You came from Miami. We're used to winning, right. Not this crap. And they turned the franchise around. This franchise doesn't need turning around so much, but it needs a boost in the right direction. And these two guys have that similar mentality of like, hey, we're not satisfied with just winning games. We want to win championships.
So I'm checking out Devin White's Instagram here. I don't know if you saw his story.
Yeah.
Where he writes, I am the architect of my life. I built my own foundation and I choose my own bricks. Get Live 45, hashtag 6th man. I'm not sure what that is.
Okay.
Hashtag Merry Christmas. It's already written, Bucs win. And then on one of the posts, it says, some people will never ask for your side of the story because the side that they heard fits the description that they want to feel about you.
Okay.
You didn't ask for his side of the story, did you? You never went to find him in there. Oh, wait, you did. Wait.
Well, truth be told, my father passed away on Tuesday night. I was up in D.C., so I was not there at the press conference on Wednesday when he spoke to the media. I would have had no problems asking him questions. It just my father passed away a couple hours earlier, and I was in D.C. Yeah. So I'm not ducking Devin White by any means like that. I had my priorities straight.
Exactly.
I've criticized Devin White, and I've stood there and I've asked him questions, and to be perfectly frank, he's answered them. You know, I've got no ill will towards him. It's just that it's not going to change anything at this point in time. He can have 2 more great games and help the team win. He's not going to be back because there's too much bad film. There's too much mistrust.
Yeah,
and
the bridge has been burned. The
bridge has been burned. Yeah, I mean, and I hope that for his sake, he sees the mutual benefit of me playing really well down the stretch, helps me in free agency, and it helps this team, you know, get to where it wants to go. And I think having another NFC South title on Devin's resume would help him in the future. Having some playoff wins on Devin's resume and playing well in those games would help him in the future. So, they're in it right now together, and that's great. Like, ball out, get live, 45, all of that. That's fantastic. That would be great for the Buccaneers and great for Devin White. It's just that you look at the film from earlier this year and last year,
it's terrible.
It's just not good. It's just not consistent.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't lead to more Instagram posts. Like, dude, just go play football, man.
He's his worst enemy.
I know. It's like you don't know if this. You think this is really helping you on the market? You really
it's not.
I mean, it's not. Like, this is not what general managers want to see, bro. This is not what coaches want to see.
No,
nobody wants to coach that. Nobody. There's a lot of talented players in this league, but when you get a reputation for being selfish and being your own guy, nobody wants you. Nobody wants you. So,
and here's the thing: at the end of the day, nobody cares about your story.
No.
Your story is every Sunday for 3 hours. That's your story. Okay. All the other stuff,
and the way you react and the way you.
Yes.
Are you a good teammate? Are you a good teammate?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
You're right. That is important. But I'm just saying, it's like, we have seen some players like come back from prison stints and sign and get play. Play really well.
Yeah.
We've seen, Antonio Brown with all the baggage that he came with, right? I mean, it's like, if you can play, if you can play in this league, you're going to get a shot, right? And so it's kind of like, they want the Boy Scout who is the Pro Bowler, but sometimes they'll take the Pro Bowler over the Boy Scout if they're not one and the same.
Oh.
So, just having said that, it's like, what matters the most is the 3 hours on Sundays.
Yep.
And then after that, it kind of trickles down. It's, what were your comments in the offseason when you wanted out, when you wanted to get paid, when you weren't satisfied with what we were paying you and all of this. And it's like, you just have to wonder too, like let's say, Devin goes and signs a 1-year deal somewhere and ends up, playing well and kind of, is humbled, and he goes to a team, almost kind of like Baker Mayfield, right? Like he signs a 1-year prove it deal. Yeah. I think Baker, like I want to stay here. I want to be a part of this. I want this team to reward me, but I also want to reward this team, right? For taking a chance on me. Yep. Exactly. Right. I get a feeling if Devin goes somewhere and let's say he makes $5-7 million, whatever, it's a 1-year deal, and he plays really well. Let's say he has just a consistent resurgence and becomes the player he thinks he is. If I think that he would go to the highest bidder in free agency and not show any loyalty to that team. I could be wrong,
of course not.
But
no.
But I don't think that he's wired that way. I think he's all about the money, and he's all about, in his mind, in his mind, status is money.
Yeah.
And he wants to be known as the best linebacker, and that means the highest paid linebacker. When, I don't know, Tom Brady was never the highest quarterback in the NFL, highest paid quarterback.
It doesn't mean anything.
Mike Evans has never been the highest paid wide receiver. He's hung around here for 10 years, going to the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? It's how much money do you need? I don't know.
Exactly. There's more to life than money, as we know.
Last question here. The report was from Ian Rappaport this week about Baker Mayfield that both sides will be mutually agreeable, if you will, to get a contract done. I mean, where does that lie? I know it's all about finishing out the season, what he does in the playoffs, being Baker Mayfield, but how much is too much? Where do you think that contract could be? I say 20 to 25 million, Scott. What do you say?
I think so. We're right around the Geno Smith deal, right? I mean, I think it's kind of in that realm. Listen, I walked in the door in 1995, and Trent Dilfer had been here, a year and or two. I don't know if he was drafted 93, 94, I forget. 94. But he was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Josh Freeman was a first-round pick. Jameis Winston was a first-round pick. Chris Sims was a third-round pick. Sean King was a second-round pick. Mike Lennon was a third-round pick. This team, Kyle Trask is a second-round pick. This team has invested first, second, and third-round draft picks into quarterbacks for whatever reason. There will be one at one point in time. There will be one that will stick. Sure? It will be good.
Are you sure?
I have no idea when that's going to be. I've been here 28 years. Yeah. I've yet to see it.
Yeah.
So it is a leprechaun that is hiding somewhere, like next to the pot of gold in the weeds.
Yes.
And we have no idea when he's going to come out. And All I know is Brad Johnson was a free agent and he won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady was a free agent and he won a Super Bowl. Brian Griese and Jeff Garcia were free agents and they won division championships. Baker Mayfield is on the cusp of winning a division championship. This franchise, for whatever reason, has had way more success, and it's indisputable evidence that free agent quarterbacks are the way to go.
Yes.
And if you look at Baker Mayfield, he was at one point in time the number 1 overall draft pick. So hang on to him.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm not opposed to drafting another quarterback. I'm not opposed to drafting another quarterback in a second or third. Because I don't know if Kyle Trask is ever going to develop, if he's ever going to challenge to be number 1. I don't know, but draft another quarterback, throw him into the mix. You can never have enough good quarterbacks.
Right,
Ask the 49ers last year. Look around the landscape this year. You got Joe Flacco and Browning and Tommy DeVito and all these guys playing, right?
Backup quarterbacks can win games.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, in my opinion, draft another quarterback, sign Baker Mayfield long term. Probably not in the first round, though, because you have other needs, you have other pressing needs. So tend to your team, but in the second or third round, if the right guy is there, and it's still going to be a deep quarterback draft class.
Yeah.
Draft another one, throw him in the hopper, right? Because Trask is entering his final year of his deal next year, of his rookie deal. So you may decide that he's not the guy, and you jettison him, where you still have another draft pick quarterback that you can develop for 4 more years behind Baker Mayfield. And hopefully you don't need him, but if you do, maybe he can help you win some games. Or maybe he can be that bridge. Maybe he can be that guy that takes the baton and, when Baker, if he starts breaking down or getting up there in age or whatever, then you have your homegrown guy, kind of like Jordan Love, right? With Green Bay, had to sit there behind Aaron Rodgers for years. So
that's right. All right, great stuff as always, my man. So sorry to hear about your dad.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
You had a hell of a dad, man. What a blessing to have a dad like that.
Absolutely.
He was a hell of a man and produced one hell of a son.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And congratulations to you, JP, for your recent engagement, man. That's awesome. Boy, what a way to ring in the new year, right? What a Merry Christmas for you and a way to ring in the new year. I'm so thrilled for you, brother. Really.
I am beyond blessed with an incredible, supportive, and loving woman and 2 incredible kids that come with it.
I know.
Angels and so fun. So I like being a dad.
That's cool.
I'm okay at it. I'm pretty good at it.
You're damn right.
Like me, so
and Ashley's make great wives too. So
that's right. Ashley's great. You got to try one, Peter. Go get you an Ashley.
There you go. Go find an Ashley, Peter.
I need to. They're not growing on trees out there.
That's true.
Not like the ones we have. That's for sure. They're super special.
It's like the quarterback situation for the Bucs.
Yes.
Right.
We got free agents, right? We didn't.
Yep, that's right. Yep. You got it, man.
All right. Thanks, Scotty. Appreciate it, buddy. Pewter Report. Find out all their stuff. You know where their social is, and lots of
Pewter Report
coming up. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, first of all, we'll thank the Italiano Insurance and all our great sponsors, American Mortgage Services, and Synovus Bank, one of our new new sponsors as well. I'm doing the producing here, Scott, so now you're gone away. All right, quick break coming up. Stay with us now. I got to hit the break. Yeah, we're having fun now.
Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, You want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back, and just an update to that Patio spot there. We are obviously not doing the Friday nights, but we are doing some upcoming live remotes. We're going to do one on. Try to get this all right here, buddy. Sorry.
I know how you feel.
There we go.
There you go. My face was cut off there.
Sorry about that. If you're listening on the podcast, yeah, we're having some visual difficulties here. Starting off the new year just perfectly well. So we're going to do on New Year's Day for the semifinals. We'll be live there, and then for the championship game on the 8th, and for the Super Bowl as well, we'll be doing watch parties at the Patio. So join us over there. Great place to watch those games. It's going to be tough for me to watch those games. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be difficult to watch those playoff games. You know, I was watching a little Bobby Hebert's son does a show, and he was going off on Michigan, and their last 4 games, Michigan averaged 282 yards a game on offense. 282 yards. That would be, if they did that and that was post Connor Stallion, by the way.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Pre-Connor Stallion, while he was stealing signs, J.J. McCarthy had 17 touchdowns accounted for. Since then, 1. Interesting. So he didn't get hurt, but their team is just not the same since Connor Stallion was so unceremoniously.
Wait a minute. You think they have an advantage over stealing signs and stealing plays and stuff? Wait a minute. Absolutely.
The numbers would suggest that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Numbers, statistics out there. But with that being said, because we know about Alabama getting in, I'm rooting for Michigan because already there's a family interest. My mom is a Michigan fan. I'm rooting for them to beat Alabama. Now, can they? I'm not sure they can.
They're going to get their ass handed to them.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They can't score with Alabama. No way.
Defense.
Their defense. I don't know how good Michigan's defense is because they played nobody this year.
Right.
They played nobody. I mean, that's why this is kind of the subterfuge. It's like, oh, Alabama's the team that got in instead of FS. That should, No, Alabama actually has been pretty good the last half of the season.
Right.
The Auburn game notwithstanding. It's Michigan that's been awful since Connor Stallion has gone away, especially offensively. And they played nobody. They got beat by TCU last year after, they were, the second coming. TCU beat them and then got their ass handed to them.
Right.
Michigan is not a good football team. And by the way, the only team that they did not pre-scout, because they didn't know they were going to play them. TCU didn't have their signals, and look what happened. I mean, we can sit here and say all we want that the signals are what they are. People still say the dramatic difference from when they had the signals and when they didn't is just really, really hard to ignore. Yeah. They never beat Ohio State since when they had their signals, they were 2-0. Well, I guess now they're 3-0. They beat them this time, but were the signals the same from when they had them last year? I don't know. So yeah, teams that they've scouted, I think they're like 30-1, and outside of Connor Stallion's status, they're maybe a 600 winning percentage as opposed to a 900 winning percentage. Right. It's a dramatic difference. So that's why that's going to be tough. But I think Alabama's going to crush them. Washington, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they play. I really do. And under the microscope against the Texas team that's been pretty damn good too and is full loaded with talent. But first two times for those teams to really step onto a big stage in a long time. So we'll see. But it definitely, to me, is greatly diminished. It's greatly diminished. I'm not saying FSU with their real team would have, steamrolled their way to a national championship, but they certainly would have been competitive with any of those teams. I think they definitely would have beat Michigan. I think they had a really good shot to beat Washington and Texas. Alabama's, I think, the best of the group, to be quite honest. So we'll see. Hey, I want to remind you about the holiday extended sale going on at the Golden Diamond Source for a limited time. We'll get 50% off everything in the store. How about that? Rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, change up to 50% off everything. So if you got some of those gift cards, man, those Visa gift cards, get on over to the Golden Diamond Source. It is still engagement season, that's for damn sure. And we're better to get the real special ring than the Golden Diamond Source, where I got mine. They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You can get gift cards too and let your special someone pick out exactly what they want. Don't forget 0% financing up to 5 years, and make sure it's a gold and diamond source diamond.
Well, I got to ask you, what about Tate Rodemaker? I mean, what do you make of that? Oh, look at that. There you go.
That's the magic box there. Yeah.
Stuff.
Wait, where's it?
There it is. Okay, there you go.
Oh, she said yes. She took the ring.
Yes. Congratulations, by the way. Fire the horn on that. There you go. And I got to go back to Tate Rodemaker. I mean, what do you make of that situation? Because a lot of people have been critical. They say, well, you're finally getting an opportunity to play against Georgia. You're from Georgia. And then you basically go into the transfer portal. And my thing is, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to the players. You're playing for nothing at the end of the day. Even if you win this game, there's no guarantee that you're going to have a share of the national title. I don't understand the outrage of players going into the transfer portal or going into the draft, if you will, because they're concerned about themselves. I don't understand the outrage on that.
Well, first of all, Tate was going to transfer anyway.
Right.
He was going to go into the portal anyway. It just so happens that the timing of it sucks. Now, I don't know. I don't understand if you go into the transfer portal, I think you can still play for your team. But I guess not. I don't know. If I were him, you go into the transfer portal, that's fine, but stick around, bro. I mean, help your team. Your team has put you in a position. Listen, I've seen Tate play. He's not as good, obviously, as Jordan Travis.
No.
He's probably not as good as Brock Glenn gets an opportunity, and I think Brock was going to play in this game anyway. He's certainly not as good as the Luke Cronenhauk, who's coming in, who's certainly going to usurp his time there. I think he's probably going to be down on the depth chart. So if he wants to play, he can go play somewhere. And I don't expect he's going to get a whole lot of premium offers, to be quite honest. He's not that great of a quarterback. He's made some big plays for us. I don't want to disparage him, but I don't think he's at the talent level of some of these others. So, but I mean, it leaves FSU really, really thin at that particular situation. Somebody asked me about Norvell's tweet. So, I don't know if this is something I missed, or it was recent. So I'm looking it up right now.
Well, I'll tell you right now, there's still a decision that needs to be made about Cam Ward, right? I mean, that's a situation that may actually work itself out into Florida State's favor. But this is what Norvell had to say. The world will let fear affect it. Life can be full of disappointing moments and will always have competition. Be true and honest in the moment. You can live with all the results. Excited and grateful for each opportunity. Keep climbing. All we got is all we need. And that's Norvell right there.
Well, is that the tweet you're talking about?
I mean, yes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anything specific to Tate Rodemaker.
I don't either. Somebody, and James says, and I know you're reading the comments there from your YouTube there, and of course on YouTube. By the way, on Instagram Live, on my Instagram Live here, because now StreamYard has given us the opportunity to go to Instagram Live, so we're on there also, and on my Facebook page. So we got lots of comments.
I did not know that.
Yes, and then of course the phone lines are open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. But James, and there's some people out there that assume that this cryptic tweet, because it's always cryptic, that means it's referring to somebody. Couldn't be just general, that it's referring to Tate. So,
I mean, look at the world will let fear affect it. Life can be full of disappointing moments and will always have competition. Be true and honest in the moment. You then can live with all the results. Excited and grateful for each opportunity. I mean, it's true. And look, I don't think that's directed at Tate. I think that's misguided.
Okay.
That's not Norvell's MO. I think that, by the way, Tate's not the only guy in the portal. All right. Tate's not the only one who was opted out. I think, this is so tough for coaches. They love these kids. They really do love them, but you can't play them all. You can't play them all. You can't have 17 quarterbacks. You got to, make the call the best you can for your football team. It's tough sometimes, and Tate, it's just, if he doesn't want to compete with these other guys, then get in the portal. But I still think, and again, I have to check exactly what the rules are because they change all the time. If you're in the portal, you can get in the portal and still play for your team, right? You can get in the portal and still be the backup quarterback if Brock Glenn is going to play, right? And to me, that should have been what Tate did. That shows your commitment to your team. That shows, that you're a good teammate. And if I'm another team that's looking for a quarterback, that's something I'd like to see. I don't want to see a guy that, and I may be talking out of turn here because I think once you get into the portal, you can still play for your team. You don't have to transfer, right? So, and I'm pretty sure that's the case. So why not stick around and be the backup quarterback? I mean, Brock may not play well, and then you get a chance to go out there and show what you can do. So that's disappointing. And to leave your team with one, experienced quarterback, I don't think that definitely shows well on your character.
It doesn't. And why practice all week long and then, opt out? Why practice? Why give, and I guess I didn't know this information was, thrown at me from James here, but why practice all week and then basically transfer out? Why not just go into the portal in the first place? Why give
it seems very Devin White-ish. I think maybe he was told, you're not gonna start, and then you took your ball and went home.
Yeah.
I can't get behind that, and this all goes back to none of this should have ever happened.
Right.
What's happening to Florida State is sad. It's really, really sad. None of this should ever happen.
Right.
And I'm convinced, and you can, people can laugh at it and say whatever they want, but I will take this to my grave. ESPN effed FSU. They put the F in FSU, and you'll never be able to convince me otherwise. This was a hit job. It was a political payback. It was selecting two SEC teams over you as ESPN goes to take over the entire SEC package. It's disgusting conflict of interest, masquerading as some autonomous college football playoff selection committee, which is a bunch of horse crap. And it's a bunch of corrupt old men clinging to their dollars as ESPN circles the drain financially and in every other way, as far as I'm concerned. And it's disgusting what you did to these kids. And it's disgusting what you did to the program. And you sit back there and laugh because you can. Because you can. And it's disgusting. You adults should be ashamed of yourself and what you did. And you know exactly what you did. And now you have to, the FSU fans have to sit there and watch their team crumble. And I don't blame these kids with NFL futures for opting out. I'm not, I think the Tate thing's a little weird. I don't get that. But the kids with NFL futures, I totally understand that. There's Georgia kids that aren't opting out. I think Brock Bowers is, and Mims is not going to play. Their tackle. But for the most part, and I'm not exactly sure on how many NFL caliber guys that they have that are playing that are not going that are going to the draft. FSU had a lot of them, and they're not playing, and I understand that. Should FSU have paid them? I wish they would have. I don't know if that was an option. Take that bowl money you get from the Orange Bowl. I think most of it goes to the conference, but a lot of it goes to your team, and say, hey, Jared, will you play for $100,000? Keon, will you play for 75? Hey, Fabian Lovett, how about another $100,000? Will you play? Will you go out and play? But all of that had to, and then kick Georgia's ass with your team, or at least have a competitive game, and then let the AP voters decide if you're number one, especially if a one-loss team wins the beauty pageant playoff. That I think that would have been a great way to go, but none of it materialized. And it all goes back to these disgusting, greedy old men at ESPN that decided to put the hit job on FSU because they didn't like the way they wanted to better themselves in the offseason and get out of this ridiculous grant and rights deal that they're locked into with who? ESPN. And there's the ACC caught in the middle. And I think this lawsuit will free them from that ridiculous grant and rights deal, and they'll be into the Big Ten. I think the bridge to the SEC is burned forever. And I don't think FSU doesn't want the SEC. The SEC doesn't want FSU, and that's fine. They're better off in the Big Ten. They'll get more money. They'll be more of a national. It'll give them a more national platform instead of a regional SEC, redneck region. And it'll be a national platform, and it'll be a better platform. I say that with all love for rednecks.
Redneck region.
Because I definitely have a redneck side myself. And that doesn't mean racist, folks. It means you like Southern cooking, you like Southern music, you like Southern football, you like those things.
Hank Williams Jr., I guess.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Right. Exactly.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Sounds like a playoff bracket there in the new college football.
James says that's why I hope FSU goes with Fox and Big Ten. Yeah, I cannot see them ever going to the ESPN and SEC. I think that bridge is broken and burned to the ground.
In the redneck region, it's Georgia versus Alabama.
Norvell was honest with Tate and told him they were looking for quarterback competition weeks ago. As the 11th hour, as they were heading to Miami, entered the portal. That's why Norvell sent out the tweet. I don't see it as a direct shot at Tate. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's more at the whole competition thing and all players. Like, hey, yeah, it's going to be competition.
Well, I go back to it. I want to know what's going to happen with the Cam Ward situation, because supposedly him and his family were supposed to have a decision made by Christmas, and now it's past Christmas, and the talk was it was going to be either the Miami Hurricanes with Rick Ross doing the recruiting in the true Luke style there, if you know, from the 80s and 90s there with the Hurricanes, or the Florida State Seminoles, which I think if I'm Cam Ward, I would choose the Florida State Seminoles because they still have the talent there. You have a coach that got the most out of Jordan Travis. For me, Cam Ward would be a home run for Florida State.
I agree. And I think that's their top choice. But I think if they don't get Cam, they're going to take DJU.
Okay.
So I think it's one or the other. And they'll have an experienced quarterback as a bridge to Cronenhuck or whoever else is going to win that job. Why are you laughing?
Tim says, are you going to change the name to the JP Redneck Show?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, not at this time. Not at this time.
Redneck region.
Listen, I'm a multifaceted, person. I'm an eclectic. I have a lot of different interests, and I do love Southern food. I love Southern rock. I love Southern football.
Sure.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. I love the. I just love old-fashioned values. They don't have to be Southern. They don't have to. I guess they can be anything, but old-fashioned values of integrity, hard work, honesty, respect for womanhood, respect for women, discipline. Those are things that I like. I like drinking beer. I don't drive a truck, but I like them. There's a lot of those things that I like. I like country music. I love country music.
Right.
So if that makes me a redneck, then I guess I'm a redneck.
You like country music now, or do you like old country music?
I don't like the twangy old stuff, like the original Hank Williams stuff, But starting, I love whole Hank Williams Jr. Sure, love that old stuff. Family tradition, yeah, love that old stuff, yeah. Southern rock, Molly Hatchet, going back to the guitar army of Molly Hatchet.
Wow.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hank Williams Jr., Country Boy Can Survive. I mean, I had to be exposed.
One of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah, I got exposed to it. I mean, my mom and my stepdad were into country music.
Family tradition. Yeah, there's so many great songs. Oh, my God. Love me some Johnny Cash, some old Johnny Cash.
Who doesn't like Johnny Cash?
George Strait. But then, I love me some, Bailey.
Taylor Swift.
I'm a Swiftie. I'm a Swiftie. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we are going to chat with our good friend Sal Paolantonio and get his. He was here for the Bucs win over the Jaguars. Did a one-on-one with Baker Mayfield. Has some very interesting takes on your Buccaneers. So stay with us. A few minutes away from the great Sal Paolantonio joining us. Stay with us.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, so take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. Reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. And engagement season is here as well, and we've got the largest selection of engagement rings, so visit us to find that perfect ring for that special moment. Looking for financing options? How big a ring can you get when we give you 3 to 5 years interest-free financing to make your dream jewelry more affordable? So this November, make sure you choose the Gold and Diamond Source for jewelry that's always stylish and unique, because your special someone deserves something to be thankful for, right? Find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't settle for factory-made imitations, folks. Make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond for a truly special piece of jewelry. It's the best folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source, 4800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this Thursday, and it's our pleasure to welcome in one of the great guys in television, one of the great guys in NFL, the 2023 recipient of the Dick Vermeil Lifetime Achievement Award. Former Commissioner Dwell Tagliabue came up from D.C. to award this to you. It was a tremendous night, almost as good as the Bucs win on Sunday for Buck fans. What's up, Sal Paolantonio? How are you?
I'm doing good, JP. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, that award is given by the NFL alumni, so it was pretty prestigious and pretty nice. A big night in Philadelphia, but it was a huge win for the Bucs last week. I thought that was about as a complete game as you can possibly play with so much on the line. Now they got to do it all over against the Saints.
Yeah. All right, before we roll into that, I just want to take a moment. First of all, you are one of the great guys in reporting and in the NFL, and the way you're just there talking to everybody in the press box, and my man Peter here. You could not be nicer to everybody. You're a superstar, and you never act that way. You're so kind to everyone. I appreciate you coming on this show, and there are not a lot of people in the business like you, and this is why you won this award. This is why you are a great reporter. You're great at what you do. You're not just a nice guy. You're fantastic at what you do. And you deserve these awards and the many more that are going to come your way. 30 years at ESPN, my man. It is a testament to not only the quality of your reporting, but your work ethic and just who you are as a human being. And I congratulate you and I thank you. And I'm blessed to call you a friend. So just want to get that out there. And Merry Christmas to you.
Well, I'm humbled. That's very nice of you to say. I regard you in the highest possible regard. I think everybody does, and it was a pleasure to be there in Tampa. Coach Bowles had everybody roll out the red carpet for me.
Nice
security, the press box attendants, the PR department, Nelson. Those guys do a great job.
Awesome. They are awesome. Yes, they are.
I love coming to Tampa. You know that it's my home away from home. My mom's in a nursing home in Lakeland, so I was able to spend all day Saturday with her, and that was a bonus on Christmas weekend. But to see the Bucs, I really respect Coach Bowles quite a bit, and I think his staff is wonderful. This young offensive coordinator, I met him on Sunday in Canales. And, I've always been a real fan of Baker Mayfield and the way he approaches the game. And I think, I was there this summer. You and I had a chance to visit, and I visited, spent some time with Baker this summer. And I was just so impressed by the way that he has just sort of reconfigured and rejuvenated himself, and how the players have really responded to him. It's, hey, JP, it's really hard, super hard, to step in the shadow of Tom Brady, the greatest to ever play the game, and to have a level of acceptance. I did a report on SportsCenter on Sunday night that ran on Monday morning as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I talked about a little scene. So I try to give people sort of like a little behind the scenes that they don't normally get to see.
Right.
And, my whole idea is, give people a ticket to a spot where they can't buy a ticket, and, transform them to a place that they can't buy themselves into, and they can't get into the locker room. They can't see the interaction with the players. And that's my job. Yep. And on the field after the game, Baker Mayfield is being interviewed by the CBS broadcast crew, and player after player is coming up to him and, interrupting the interview or interrupting the start of the interview and saying, you're a dog. And one of those guys was Tristan Wirfs.
Right.
Yeah.
And I saw Tristan Wirfs do it, and I was like, Tristan Wirfs, this is a guy who Tom Brady implored the front office to draft, knew he needed a guy on the offensive line who was going to protect him, from Michigan, his alma mater. And Wirfs wins the Super Bowl with Brady, and now he's turned around and become a real fan of Baker Mayfield, and they're not even finished with the first season.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, that impressed me quite a bit. And I had a chance to just talk to Tristan Wirfs one-on-one at his locker to get an idea of what he was thinking. And I talked to Todd Bowles and some of the other players, and they said, we like the way he works. He just works. We're talking about Baker.
Yeah.
He works so hard. And here's something that Bowles said to me that I said on the air. Bowles said to me that Baker is not afraid to admit when he makes a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And he does that to players and coaches. He's showing a level of humility and maturity that was necessary in order to transition from a guy like Tom Brady, who was, of course, it's hard to get close to a guy like that who is
The GOAT.
Much,
Mm-hmm.
right? The GOAT. And Baker Mayfield has done exactly what he needed to do in order to get close to these players. And players were telling me how he will sit in the cafeteria, talk to players. What do they need? What do they see? Pick their brains about what can be improved upon. And, that has really gone a long way, just building those relationships one-on-one with players.
Yeah, I got to ask you, Sal, because much has been made about Baker and what he's done for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's eclipsed Tom Brady from last year. A lot of people will say Lamar Jackson should be the MVP with 19 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Why isn't Baker Mayfield in that conversation to be the MVP? If you're going to talk about Jackson, because Mayfield has better numbers, and I get it, it's all about win and losses. But like you said, he just, followed Tom Brady. So why isn't Baker more in that conversation? Should he be in that conversation, Sal?
I think he should be in the conversation, because he's sort of viewed as a one-year stopgap journey kind of guy, and Lamar Jackson's got some great numbers, beyond the numbers that you just recited. I just think, again, the way he has transformed himself and the way he has reconfigured his career to dovetail with what the Bucs needed at the time that they needed it, coming out of the shadow of Tom Brady, is nothing short of remarkable and an MVP type performance. Where is Baker with touchdowns? Is he close to 30 yet? He's got to be close to 30 touchdown passes.
28 and 7, right?
Well, I thought it was 20. I thought it was 26 and 8, but maybe I'm wrong.
26 and 8. Okay. Yeah. Something like that.
8. Yeah, he's close to 30. I mean, 30 is a pretty good number for a guy in the first year offense, learning on the fly like that. And considering he had and here's the thing, right? This will dovetail exactly with the point you were just trying to make. The team with the best record against the spread this year is the Bucs. Now, what does that tell you? I just got that number from Caesars.
Wow.
The team with the best record against the spread in the NFL is the Bucs. And so that tells you that they have been underrated all year long by the betting community. And I pay attention to it, the betting community, because that's where the money goes. Those numbers are real. People get it. They don't put out fake numbers because the money's on the line. So I'm looking, and the team that's got the worst record against the spread, the Saints.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. That doesn't surprise me one bit.
They've been so overrated because why? Well, they got Derek Carr.
Yep.
And blah and blah 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 blah. And Baker's a 1 year. They're renting him for a year, and we'll see at the end of the season. We don't really believe in the Bucs, and there's a lot of that's been going around for years, for months and months. But if you watch me on the NFL matchup show, I always talk about Baker Mayfield and Dave Canales and that offense. Now, the one thing I'll say about the offense, guys, and we saw it a little bit on Sunday, is he's taking too many hits.
Yeah, that's true. It's a great point.
He had 5 sacks in Green Bay, 28 going in. I forget the number of how many sacks he had against Jackson. How many times Jacksonville?
I think they got to him 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
A couple times, right? And they were hitting them all the time.
They were.
They got hit in the head a couple of times, and I saw him jawing at the referee, like, how come he didn't call that? Which
he doesn't get the Brady treatment, that's for sure.
No, he doesn't. Well, hey, when Brady was getting hit in the mouth by the Rams and got his lip bloodied, and Sean Hockley didn't call the flag, Tom Brady started jawing at Hockley, and then Hockley
threw the flag
on him for unsportsmanlike conduct. You remember that?
I do very well.
Divisional playoff game at Raymond James. Yeah, ridiculous. It should have been called, but freaking Von Miller.
And Brady and Baker was getting hit in the head a couple.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. That was, and it was interesting. I picked up on it exactly what you picked up on with Baker. And I talked to Tristan and I talked to Rob Hainsey and even some of the defensive guys. And, I asked them about the identity of this team because, Sal, one thing about this team that I think I've never seen in the 35 years I've covered this league, I've never seen a team go from being so soft to being, as Tristan Wirth said, a bunch of dogs. And it was early in the season, Bowles was playing a lot of cover 2, soft shell, allowed the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud to go right down the field with 46 seconds to go in a game that they definitely should have won. And that was just the way they were playing. They were playing soft up front. They couldn't run the football. And in the last 4 weeks, everything has changed. And I think Bowles has become more aggressive in the way he coaches. He's gone for it on 4th down on a couple situations where he never would have.
We were sitting talking to each other, and we were like, how is he going to go for it on 4th down?
But I've never seen a team that's changed the way they coach, changed the way they play. And it's Wirth said it starts with 6. It starts with 6. So all of this has kind of, come together as a perfect storm. The thing is, Sal, have you ever seen a team change in midstream like this? And can they continue this as they run through 2 games that they certainly can win and roll into the playoff as a 10-win team and dangerous? I don't think I don't think the Eagles want to come here. Your Eagles don't want to come here. I don't think the Cowboys want to come here. Am I getting too homerish here? What do you think?
No, I don't think you're homerish, JP. I mean, as you guys were pointing out to me when we were watching the game, there's a couple of things that are going on that shows their aggressiveness. Clearly, when he's throwing number 45 up the A gap and those delayed blitzes, quarterback, I love that. I love that stuff. Love it. I mean, I want to see that every game because he's an absolute. Talk about a dog. That guy
when he wants to be. When he wants to be. Yes.
Well, and hopefully he's been shaken out of the tree a little bit, and that'll be good. That'll be good. He's out of his funk. So that's fantastic. I love to see that. I love to see Devin White let loose like that. So that's a big thing. The other thing that you pointed out that we've actually showed on the matchup show, and this shows why you know the game so well, JP, is just pull the trigger. If you're Baker, just see it and throw it. Don't hold the football. And I talked to Baker about it after the game. We did a one-on-one interview, and one of the things that I wanted to ask him, because I wanted to show the Mike Evans touchdown pass, that little skinny seam route that he threw in the end zone there, that was something that was open at the beginning of the year, and he wasn't pulling the trigger on it. And Baker and Evans have developed a level of trust. Either they've developed a level of trust, or Evans just said, "Hey, man, listen, I'm going to the Hall of Fame. Okay, so all you got to do is throw it in the area.
Throw the damn ball.
I'm going to come down with the friggin' football." One of those things happen. Because all he has to do is just pull the trigger and put it near where Evans is, and he's going to come down with it. I'm just so amazed by the strength of Mike Evans' hands.
Yes.
Once his hands hit the ball, he's coming down with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a dog.
Put your foot in the ground and get the ball out. And, the funny thing was, I'll tell you a funny little thing that happened in the press box. We were talking to our friend Ira Kaufman. The 3 of us were sitting, 4 of us were sitting there. Yeah. And I got up. If you notice, I got up in the middle of the conversation. I just left the conversation. Why I did that, I was never trying to be rude, is I saw something that the PR department put up on the scoreboard. And that was that Baker Mayfield had the second fastest time of release on Sunday. Only Tua in Miami, who's been very quick with the ball all year long, was number one. And Baker, who's been very slow with the ball, had the number 2 snap to release on Sunday in week 16. So I get up and I go over to the PR department. I'm like, where'd you guys get these numbers? And they're looking at each other like, well, they came from the scoreboard people, next gen stats. They didn't even. So the scoreboard people, Raymond James put that up, and I used that. I was like, oh man, I called my stats department. I was like, wow, that's a really good indication of JP of what you were talking about when we were talking, 3 of us there, about just Baker, put your foot in the ground, put your right foot in the ground, take a step with your left foot, and bang, get rid of it.
Rip. Yeah.
Sal, you got some context around the league.
A few.
Yeah, a few. Yeah, you've been in this for a long time. I mean, what are you hearing about the Mike Evans situation? Because, there's a lot of fans out there thinking, Mike Evans, it could be his last year with the Bucs. I mean, what are you hearing around league circles thinking, are the Bucs going to re-sign this guy? Or are they going to let him test the market? I mean, what do you think is going to happen in this offseason coming up?
Well, I think here's what I'm hearing. I think I'm hearing the same thing that I said to JP on Sunday when we were sitting in the press box. The Bucs, here's what I'm hearing from people, and this is not my opinion, but it could be my opinion. The Bucs are nuts to let Mike Evans get out the door.
He's not going anywhere.
The Bucs are nuts to let Mike Evans go out the door. Listen, Rondé Barber just got in the Hall of Fame. I'm on the Hall of Fame selection committee. I'm one of the 46 voters. Mm-hmm. Okay. Barber just got in. Derek Brooks is in. Sapp is in. Lynch is in. Evans is going in. He's got to be a Buck for life.
Yeah.
He's got to be a Buck for life. So whatever the Glazers are doing with all the dough they got, you're going to have to give Baker some money, and you're going to have to give Mike Evans some money. That's it. You're going to have to give these 2 guys money, because if you want to do anything with that team, and you're going to get a home playoff game. You win in the division, you're going to get a home playoff game. You're going to boat race the Saints. Now, Saints have a pretty good defense now, not bad, but I don't see the Bucs scoring 30 on the Saints, but they're going to win the game.
Yeah,
they're going to win the game. They're going to beat the Saints. They're going to win the division, and you're going to get a home playoff game. And you're going to make some money off of it. The Glazers are going to make some money, a lot of money off a home playoff game. You just sold all those suites. How many year leases on the suites?
5-year suites on the Brady deal was 5-year lease on the suites and a 20% surcharge for every year that Brady plays.
All right, so there's the answer to your question. There's money there for Baker and Evans.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the cap, right? It's the cap. But they're taking all their cap charge this year. And Sal, here's a stat that I saw last week, and I'd have to I don't know the exact number, but of all the teams that have had, it's like $75 million in dead cap money over the last 10, 15 years, I don't think anybody's won more than 3 games. And the Bucs I think they'll be the first to certainly win a division title. So I'll just check me on that. But that just goes to this draft class. Jason Light, the pro personnel people that have done a great job here in getting some free agents in here at low numbers. They've done a great job to win this. If they can win this division, I think they will. And that's a hell of a number. And, and Todd Bowles has done, I've been a little down on Todd. I love him as a human being. I think he's the greatest. I just don't think he's coached this team very well until the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's turned it around, and I think he saved his job. And I'm just interested as hell to see what happens at the end of this season. This team is intriguing. It's dangerous and it's intriguing. And I'm here for the next few weeks in a playoff game that is not going to be like last year's playoff game. I don't think at all. Your thoughts?
Well, listen, as you mentioned, 30 years for me. Listen, I covered the first game at Raymond James Stadium. It was like a torrential downpour. It was like a tsunami came through that place. If you remember it,
I was there. Yes.
That place was baptized by the Lord Jesus Christ himself. He said, this is going to be a great place to come watch football. And it wound up being a great place to come watch football. It's home away from home. Hey, listen, I'm up on the picnic level there doing my live shots with the Yuletide behind me and the Jumbotron and Christmas music with the pirate ship behind me. I mean, you can ask for a better visual than that on Christmas Eve. We love going there. They roll out the red carpet for us. And now that you mention it, maybe I should retire and just here's what I want to do in my retirement, JP. I just want to be like an usher at Raymond James Stadium. I would do it for free. Maybe I'll just want to be a press box usher, like one of the diplomats.
I think we could find a better role for you.
No, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to shake people's hands, say, "Welcome to Raymond James Stadium. Enjoy the Bananas Foster at half."
Yes.
Oh, yes. See,
that's what press boxing.
Yes.
Best press box in the National Football League. Well, you guys have a great week, and I'm going to be doing Baltimore and the Miami Dolphins at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to be in the ESPN booth with Steve Levy calling the game.
Oh, nice. Fantastic.
On the ESPN radio network. So, that game is at 1:00. What time is your Bucs game this week? 1 or 4? When is that game?
1:00. It's a 1:00er. Yeah.
All right. Well, people in Tampa won't be listening to the Dolphins and the Ravens, I'm sure. But that's where I'll be this week, and here's I want to give people a little bit of a tease. On Saturday morning, when the NFL matchup show kicks off, Darius Butler does his Butler breakdown on Baker Mayfield.
Oh, can't miss that. Is that Saturday morning? What time?
Saturday morning on ESPN2. Just set your DVR. You can also get it on demand. The ESPN NFL matchup show that I've been hosting for 22 years, Darius Butler's Butler Breakdown, kicks off the show on Baker Mayfield. Don't miss it. You're gonna love it.
Awesome.
We're in. Thanks, Sal Paolantonio. And again, congratulations on the Dick Vermeil Award. So well deserved. And we're going to make you an honorary member of the Buccaneers media group here. So you're in. I've just so dubbed you. So congratulations. Welcome to the crew.
And, congratulations, Mazel Tov to you.
Thank you.
I heard there's a little birdie out there that told me that you got engaged this week.
I did to the greatest woman on the planet. Yes.
You're a blessed man.
I am. You have no idea, my friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks, Sal.
Be on the show, guys.
You're the best. The great Sal Paolantonio right there.
Awesome. We got a chance.
He gave me a mazel. He gave me a mazel on my engagement.
There you go.
Come on. I'm blessed.
Yes.
I'm blessed forever. I can't screw this up.
No, you can't. There's no way. There's no way at this point. And we sat around in the press box just talking to this guy. And he's been in the business for years. All these contacts, superstar, ESPN, and it's just so down to earth, and it's so great to talk to him about football, not just the Bucs, but around the NFL, talking about the Cleveland Browns possibly being the most dangerous team in the AFC. It just picking his brain on certain things and stuff like that.
He loves the Browns. Loves the Browns.
I don't know how you couldn't love the Browns.
We got to hit a quick break, and then we'll come back and wrap things up. I got a couple of loose ends out here we got to get to. Just an incredible interview by Sal Pal there. We're going to post that a little bit later on. So quick break. We'll be back. Wrap things up. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays, get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the patio. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
The JP Peterson Show here. As we wrap things up, I want to say a big thank you to Synovus Bank, one of our new sponsors. Great local people. John Acosta is a longtime friend, been in the local banking business since 1983. And there's so many John Acostas all over the Synovus group here in the Tampa Bay region, folks that have been in the local banking business forever. So they're a big bank with a really local flavor. They will take care of you, give you great personal service, whether it's business or whether it's just your personal account. They will take care of you. Great folks over at Synovus Bank, the big bank with the very local field. So big thanks to those folks at Synovus Bank. Honey, you're on. Get down here. Hello. I said, I'm going to bring you on. We just got a mazel tov from Sal Paolantonio. Oh my God. Yes. So here is the new Mrs. Peterson. Yes, there she is. Look at that. Look how beautiful this woman is.
I know.
She actually said yes, Peter. Can you believe
Peter,
that?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, I can believe it. You're a good man. You deserve it, JP. You guys are
thank you.
couple, and I'm completely congratulations to both of you guys. It's all going to work out. It's going to be great.
Tell them about your almost $2,500 parlay hit on
the Giants did me dirty. I'm burning my shirt.
We had the Raiders to win. We got the Ravens to win,
right.
Both big underdogs, and then all we needed the Giants. They were 13.5 point. And if Evan Ingram did you dirty, or no, Tyrod Taylor did you dirty.
Right. But I did say at one point, I said, where's Saquon tonight? And 2 seconds after that, he got a touchdown. I said, I asked, he answered.
Not only am I gaining the most beautiful woman and the sweetest and most lovable woman, but also 2 incredible kids, and she knows her football.
Well, there you go.
Somebody told me the Giants had less than a 0% chance to win against the Eagles the other night. And I said, watch, they're going to do it, which they didn't, but they were close. So I feel
Thank you, honey.
There you go. Good stuff. Hey, listen, that's the unicorn right there, my friend. Because
yes, she is. She is a unicorn.
She likes sports, when she likes football, and she's sweet at the same time.
Dude, I'm the luckiest man on earth. The luckiest man on earth.
There you go.
All right. Thank you guys for checking in with us. We'll be back tomorrow and Friday with live shows. Don't forget, we'll be at the patio for the semifinals on New Year's Day. Peter and I will be there having fun with the watch party.
Yeah.
So come on out and join us for that. Have a great day, everybody. And go Bolts tonight. I'll see you at Amalie Arena. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.